Hi, I'm Scott Monroe, Food Safety Educator with Purdue University Extension, and welcome to our final video in our series dealing with Food Safety Modernization Act produce rule and whether or not you as a produce grower are covered under this rule. Recall that we're using a flow chart developed by FDA to help us determine coverage under the produce rule. Today we're going to look at the last item on the flow chart, the last criterion, which deals with whether or not we're selling to wholesalers or through direct marketing venues. Basically, when we look at this last criterion, there's two things we need to ask. Where's my produce going? And again, how much am I selling? Recall that in an earlier video, we talked about how anyone that's selling less than $25,000 worth of produce per year on a 3-year rolling average is exempt from the rule or not covered. Note that we said produce. When we look at our last criterion, the first thing we have to ask is, am I selling more than $500,000 or less than $500,000 in total food sales? Note the distinction. When we talk about food sales, we include grain crops, livestock, or anything that may become food for animals or people. We have a lot of small diversified farms in Indiana where we may have a little bit of grain, we might have some livestock, and oh yeah, we have a little produce on the side. On these farms we need to really be careful to make sure we know what our annual sales of all food are, and we need to know where we're at. If we have more than $500,000 worth of food sales, we are covered by the produce rule without exception, without exemption. However, if we have less than $500,000 in food sales, we may still receive a qualified exemption provided that we meet certain qualifiers. In this case, the qualifier is that over half of our food sales go to a qualified end user. So, what exactly is a qualified end user? Well, the produce rule defines a qualified end user as, number one, the direct consumer of the food. Second, a qualified end user is defined as a restaurant. And third, a qualified end user is defined as a retail food establishment. However, there are additional qualifiers. Not only do you need to have over half of your food sales going to a qualified end user, direct to the consumer, retail food establishment, or restaurant, but either one of those three must be within 275 miles of your farm or the farm where the produce was grown, or within the same state. Now remember, to receive this qualified exemption, we need to keep records to show that we do in fact qualify. As a grower, you're going to need to keep production records, sales records, and other documentation which shows that over half of your food sales do in fact go to a qualified end user. So that's our series. If you haven't found an exemption so far as we've worked through this flow chart, odds are you're covered by the produce rule. Now, to determine exactly what that means, we encourage you to contact your local Purdue Extension office. Purdue Extension has a presence and an office in all 92 Indiana counties, and qualified individuals who can help you work through these issues to find the answers you're looking for if in fact you are covered by the Food Safety Modernization Act produce rule. Again, I'm Scott Monroe, Food Safety Educator with Purdue University Extension, speaking from the Southwest Purdue Ag Center near Vincennes, Indiana. I'd like to thank you for watching this series, and as always, don't forget to click that like button.